I don't want Congress getting into my business because I like guns and prostitutes and church and taking prostitutes to church with a gun and a prostitute with church and church prostitutes. That's my favorite thing. And as Congress can't look, you can have my prostitute when you pull her out of my cold, dead basement.
We're Generation X, laughing at the world today. We're getting older, but we're still gonna play all day. Radio Labyrinth, our minds are a maze, navigating through the chaos of these modern days. Oh, lost in the radio labyrinth.
I have to open the show with an apology.
To who?
To Jeff, to Adam Ray's fans, to all the people who complained about our TikTok video and had it taken down for violating community norms. When all we were doing was saying that we didn't like it for 3 hours, which is a long time. And I'm sorry. Adam Ray is funny. I've interviewed him before. I like him, and I feel bad. Jeff, please help.
I like Adam Ray.
I know you do.
I like Dr. Phil. It maybe 3 hours is too long, but 3 hours is long for anything. The Tom Brady roast was 3 hours.
Yeah, but there were multiple comedians.
Yeah, but even after 3 hours of that, I still thought that was too long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Adam Ray's funny, but I like ice cream too, but, too much of it.
Well, regardless, Steph, you were going to say something.
No, I just don't understand how that is a violation, in opinion.
People complain.
I think if one person reports it, then they just automatically take it down. It's all robots.
Yeah.
They complained they didn't like it, so that's why it was taken down.
One of the comments was, some people shouldn't have podcasts.
Oh, my God. Who is Adam Ray? I don't even know who he is.
Comedian, actor.
Yeah, he's funny. He does a lot of the comedy podcasts, and when he's himself, or when he's Dr. Phil, but it's shorter. It's funny. I get why they do it with the shtick because he interacts with all the comedians. But we weren't being haters. Come on, give us a break, would you? It's not like we dragged our girlfriend around a hotel, and was just wearing a towel.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I felt really bad about it, so I did it.
Put some clothes on before you girlfriend up.
Don't say that. We can't say that. Dustin will have. I'm trying to delicately talk about this situation that everybody is talking about, but we're not allowed to mention on YouTube or we won't get ad money.
You can't assault?
You sure about that? You sure about that?
You have to say pepper.
Yes. He peppered her. He peppered all over her.
He peppered her with
Mm-hmm. No, I can't say it's violent.
Fruit punch. He peppered her with fruit punch.
He peppered her with unhugs.
Well, he was kind enough to apologize for it 8 years after the fact when they couldn't charge him with anything.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
with the most unsincere, fake, phony apology. I mean,
I believe him.
Oh my God. It was hard to watch.
It was more fun speculating that P Diddy had all these videos of celebrities doing each other and doing horrible things, and that's why they raided his house. And now you find out that he's just an abusive piece of crap.
Well, yeah, another lawsuit filed against him today.
I hope he does a video. The more Instagram videos he does apologizing for all these horrible things he did, I think that the jury will go easy on him. I mean, it's not like he had sex with a prostitute for $250,000 and signed an NDA, and then his lawyer stole money from him, and now he's on trial.
Well, and also, beyond that, it doesn't even matter if he did go to jail. They'd just let him out.
Of course they would. He has all the dirt. He is an FBI agent.
I am an FBI agent.
Not an agent, but he's part of that whole thing.
Well, that's what Kanye says.
Kanye's never been wrong about anything.
And Kanye's been saying that for years, that Puffy is a snitch for the feds. And that's why he gets away with all this crap.
Kanye was wrong about Nazis.
I mean, he's not wrong that they exist.
Right. But he was also wrong about a lot of things, but not this. He's right about he's right about all this stuff.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah. Although Kanye, needs to do something about his teeth. I don't like that new grill he has, you know?
You got a new grill?
Titanium.
It looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I hope his new girlfriend escapes.
Aren't they married?
Probably, yeah. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
She's bald now. He's made her into whatever this thing is that he likes.
Yeah.
It's a shape. It's just a shape that he likes.
He likes a blob with eyes.
Yep.
And holes.
I think it reminds him of like his boo-boo, like a blanket or something he had when he was a child. Or
my boo-boo.
Yeah.
He drags his boo-boo around. Oh, no, that's P Diddy who drags
Right, yeah.
Jeff and Dustin, did either of you watch that movie Iron Claw?
No.
I waited for it to come out on streaming. Dustin, did you see it?
No, did not.
No. I guess Steph and I are the only people who started it. Did you finish it, Steph?
I stopped it like before Carrie killed himself.
Yeah, it was a very depressing, poorly made, boring television movie from 1985. We'll give it
terrible.
5.
And
Yeah.
what the heck was going on with Zac Efron? He looked like Lou Ferrigno.
I know he did. He did.
He broke his jaw.
He did? Really?
Yeah.
What, making that movie?
No.
Oh.
Doing a stunt or something. I don't know what happened, but he broke his jaw. That's why his face looks like that now.
Oh, it was the hair, too. The hair was ridiculous. Wrestling aficionados, especially those who are into late 70s and, of course, 80s and 90s wrestling, know the Von Erich family. There was a real good... was it Vice? Was it The Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zac Efron was Kevin Von Erich. Jeremy Allen White was Carrie Von Erich, who looked really good as Carrie Von Erich, by the way. Lily James, well, she's Lily James. Maxwell Jacob Friedman was Lance Von Erich, and Harris Dickinson was David Von Erich. And Holt McElhenney, there you go, was Fritz Von Erich, their dad. Maura Tierney, it was just boring. It was boring, and there were some moments that were good. I generally like Michael Harney in anything he's in. He's always entertaining. And other than that, some of the performances of other wrestlers were good. The Ric Flair was not. Aaron Dean Eisenberg was not good as Ric Flair. But it was boring and depressing, and I Chavo Guerrero Jr. was good as the Sheik, but other than that, I just wasn't too interested. It's just depressing. It's like, why?
Yeah, that's why I said that if they would have made it into like a 10-episode limited series, that way they could have punched it up some and not just made it this saga of sadness.
Yes.
And they didn't even include everything.
Oh, they have a curse, that family. That's what.
Well, that was the whole whatever, is that the name was cursed.
Yeah.
Yep. It is docudrama time. You have a popular docudrama going on right now on Netflix about Ashley Madison, and then you have one on Max, which is Kevin Spacey Unmasked. I would hate to see him unmasked. You wouldn't want to look up and see Kevin Spacey standing over you. But I will say this. I don't know how far y'all got into the Ashley Madison, but I was not interested in it. I watched the first episode, and I hate everybody in it. I can't continue.
I enjoyed it. I watched all 3.
Okay. So there's only 3. Maybe I can stomach the other 2.
Yeah, I mean, you see the rise of people, and then the next 2 is just the falls.
Who, like the super religious guy?
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that guy real quick. Did you guys watch it, Jeff, Dustin?
No, I didn't watch it.
Jeff?
No, I didn't watch it. I started watching the other one that was out like 2 months ago, but I didn't finish watching that either. Well, there's nothing interested in Ashley Madison. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Well, the horny Christian guy, his wife is good looking. He's good looking. They're good looking people. They're super religious. So he gets on Ashley Madison because he's horny, and I guess he meets another Christian, and they end up having, biblical sex someplace.
But they don't.
No, I know. Continue. You go on.
No, it's just that guy, in the end, when you get to the 3rd episode, when he finally admits all the crap that he did, most of it had nothing to do with Ashley Madison. And in fact, what you find out is most of these women that they met were not real. They were fake. They were none of these. Yes, these are fake profiles that the customer service people were pretending to be Women, because that was their big claim, is that, oh, women are just as big cheaters, and we got plenty of women on here, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, they didn't. What's her face? That freak that busted up Jesse James and Sandra Bullock's marriage.
Yeah.
She was one of their spokesmodels.
Oh.
Well, she's, doing a dance club thing, and then she has a dude show up one night with a bunch of flowers for her, thinks he's been talking to her. Then it happened again 2 weeks later, come to find out, they were using her profile and acting like she was talking to these people. They thought they were having a relationship with her.
So how is it still in business if they're committing fraud like that?
Not only are they still in business, see, they hung it all on the main dude that started it. He was the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Which once that group, the group that did this, which I don't even think it was a group, I think it was one person. And that's the whole thing, is you never do find out who did this. They never could figure it out. They even got like the best IT people in the world from Switzerland or whatever. They couldn't figure it out. The FBI couldn't figure it out. Nobody could figure out who did this to them. Wow. But it was very personal, and it was completely targeted at the guy who started this website.
So the Christian guy with the nice wife, are they still together? Because I'm not going to watch the rest of it.
Yes, they are. I mean, of course, they had to go through all kinds of therapy and all this other kind of crap. And he finally admitted it was never about having sex with people anyway. It was attention. He just wanted attention.
Oh, if he could have got them, he would have banged them, right?
Maybe. I mean, he did. He went to he admitted he went to massage parlors and prostitutes and all this other crap before Ashley Madison.
Oh, okay. So once he and his wife go viral on YouTube with their singing Frozen in their car, and they're called the Good Looking Couple.
Yeah. Then he was done. He didn't care anything about cheating anymore. That's because that's all he wanted was the attention.
Right.
He was an attention whore.
Right.
So in the end, what to me trips me out is, one, they never found out who did this, which I think it's the coolest thing ever. And all these cyber security people said that this is the first and only attack by this group ever. They've never done it again. And the fact that they still have 70 million subscribers.
That's ridiculous. They must have done it to themselves because it's free advertising.
Well, I mean, even after finding out a lot of these are not even real women, why the hell would you keep going on back to the site? You don't even know if you're talking to somebody real.
Well, I usually finish up before I actually meet them. There used to be sites called Craigslist and Backpage. Now, Craigslist had a dating thing where people could sign up. They didn't have to sign up. You just post your picture and say, I'm looking to meet. Now, it could be traditional meeting, or it could be, I want to, have an arm in my you-know-what. But you could put it on there, and it was free. Well, they also had an escort section, and, they had to get rid of that. So you have the Craigslist killer. Remember that story? The Craigslist killer. He met up with women and he killed them. That could happen on any dating site. Okay. And it would probably be easier to find them on a dating site where you have to sign up. And then Backpage had massage and escorts and stuff like that. That gets taken down. Well, if you look to what happened to Backpage, and to a certain degree with Craigslist, is that they were taken down because they were free and they were causing newspapers to lose revenue, because that's where all these classified ads used to be. Newspapers. You have to look into this, but McCain's family, John McCain's family, his wife, they were involved in newspapers and with these classified ad things. And his wife was sort of the person who got him and other members of Congress to make laws or whatever. And now both of those sites are gone. But the point is that
and now all the frogs are gay.
That's right. No, this is true. Unlike actually, atrazine does cause hermaphroditism in amphibians, and it's scientifically proven, Joe. Wow. But all these sites, these dating sites and these apps, they cost money. They're subscription based. And that's, like everything that you deal with online or everything that you buy now, they don't want you to own it. They want you to subscribe to it. So you just sit there and you swipe all day. What was that joke? Tinder. It was Jeffrey Ross. You guys on Tinder? That's where you swipe right and swipe left until you come. It's not my joke. It's his joke, but it's very, very funny. But these corporations, it's the corporations. And that's what I'm saying, is that they dictate every aspect of your life. These asset managers, capital investment groups, from cheating, dating, sugar daddy sites. old mass media, which they're gobbling up, unfortunately, housing, and now your veterinarian clinic. Steph, you might know about this. They're buying all these vet clinics, these independent vets, which was, you went to the veterinarian when you were younger. We took your dog to the vet, right? Or if you were poor, you took a kid. And they're buying all these up. And you know what's going to happen next? There's going to be a nationwide rollout of, well, your dog needs insurance. Your pet needs insurance. Now, that already exists, but this is going to be a rollout. And they're just going to suck your money. So you'll just end up renting a pet.
Yeah, what do you think Piedmont and Northside have done? Medical. They've tried to gobble up every doctor's office they can. And then you become a Piedmont provider or you're a Northside provider.
Right.
They keep coming after us, and we retained our independence because once you become a part of them, they dictate every single thing that you do, what you can prescribe, all of that stuff.
Right. Well, there it is. So, there used to be hospitals. The Catholic Church would open a hospital, and a lot of the money would come from Catholic charities, and they'd get money from the government. Those are all going to go away. And then you're going to be going to WellStar. Are you a WellStar patient? Everything you need is right here at WellStar. Okay. I just like going to a doctor, and I like to pick my doctor, and I like to meet my doctor and have a conversation, but oh well, who cares?
It's idiocracy.
Oh, we're definitely there. Idiocracy was well on display last week when those three idiots in Congress were yelling at each other in a hearing. I hope you guys heard that. I don't want to belabor it or talk.
Go away, Goonin.
Yeah.
It was her big built man body.
Oh, big. Yeah. Well, she trademarked that.
Yeah, I heard she's going to put it on a shirt.
Yeah. And meanwhile, she's a Democrat, and that's a homophobic slur. So I don't know. You can get away with it if you're a Democrat. And then the other one, the Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever her name is. Yeah, honey. Yeah. Look at those fake eyelashes. And AOC crying. This is our government.
It's sickening.
Yeah. And then you have all these fat old guys. Come on now. Calm down. Hey, now. Calm down.
You remember in the 90s when we used to see those news broadcasts of like the Japanese or Chinese government? They'd be throwing chairs at each other.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Look how civilized we are.
Taiwan, they fucking had a brawl in their government.
Yeah, they get crazy in the parliament too.
Yeah, well, they yell at each other, but they have a scheduled time to do that. We don't have that. We just expect too much. I mean, look at us. Look at our generation. Do you want any of us to be in Congress? I don't have time. I have shit to do.
Well, they don't do anything, so you'd have time to do it.
Yeah, you have to wait until a corporation will write the bill. You don't have to look at it. You just sign your name or vote yay or nay, depending on who's giving you the most money, and then off you go. Off you go. Boom.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
No, they don't do jack shit up in Congress. And that's a problem because I like my guns, and I like going to church, and I like meeting a prostitute in a dark alley and taking her into the woods in my truck. And I just want to be able to do those things.
Granted, you could do it.
I don't want Congress getting into my business because I like guns and prostitutes in church and taking prostitutes to church with a gun and a prostitute with church and church prostitutes. That's my favorite thing. And as Congress can't look, you can have my prostitute when you pull her out of my cold, dead basement. Kevin Spacey unmasked. I'm not watching it. I'm turning into my son. It broke it. The Kevin Spacey thing I'm not going to watch anymore of because, again, he's been acquitted. And this is sensationalist British documentary that we dropped it too late. You should have put it on 2 years ago. I kind of agree with Sharon Stone and Liam Neeson. It's time for Spacey to start acting again. It's all he can do.
Yeah, but how's he coming back?
Well, he doesn't have to do it here. Somebody will hire him. So many people have come back who've done worse things than he allegedly did. So it's time for Spacey to come back.
Well, he's never even had one. He's never even went to jail or anything.
Well, because he didn't do anything wrong. Right? He didn't do anything that's illegal. He didn't do anything, or he wasn't convicted of it. I mean, even OJ came back and he killed 2 people allegedly. Well, he's dead. He can't sue him.
He killed him. He carried a child boy to bed, but he did not diddle him. He just carried him to the bed.
He wanted him to get some sleep.
Maybe he just misread that whole situation.
I could do a good Kevin Spacey, I would. I want him to start acting so he'll stop doing those creepy videos with the coffee mugs in the fireplace where he thinks he's Frank, President Frank. I don't want that anymore. He's a good actor. Get back into acting. And I felt weird watching these guys. 30 years ago, he touched my knee. Okay. Sorry. Ask him for some money. Money cures everything. Did anybody watch Joe Rogan Experience with Terrence Howard?
I saw clips of it.
Yeah, clips are the way to go with that because that's 3 hours of just mind-numbing insanity. Mind-numbing insanity. But if you're watching it, you think Terrence Howard is a genius. He's the next Einstein, right? Joe Rogan, on a 3-hour episode, Joe Rogan spoke for 13 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because immediately they opened the show. Have you watched any of these clips, Steph?
No.
No?
I just figured he was on there promoting 1 × 1 = 2 again.
Well, yes, he was.
Why is 1 × 1 1 when it should be 2? 1 + 1 is 2. Why isn't 1?
And then I started thinking about that and my brain almost fell out because I'm like, why isn't it? Why? But as soon as the show started, Terrence Howard says that he remembers being in his mother's womb. And he remembers,
I remember the pressure, and then I came out.
Okay. What is up with that guy? I think it's because he didn't get to be Iron Man. And he got screwed out of Iron Man. I do agree with that. I think he got screwed out of Iron Man. And he had helped. He was there for Robert Downey Jr. And he says that Robert Downey Jr. wasn't there for him. So
people say he's hard to work with. I mean, obviously, he's a little bit eccentric.
He's a genius. You can't work with a genius.
Did you know that 1 × 1 is 2?
And he gets upset.
He does get mad. It's hard out here.
Things make him upset.
It's hard out here for a mathematician. It's fantastic, though. There's great, absolutely awesome. I want to read these. Now, there's another site that does all these things where they talk about the shows, and it beat me to the punch because I had these ready to go like a week ago or 5 days ago. But these comments on the JRE YouTube page, they kicked him off Iron Man because he knows how to build the real arc reactor. That's a good one. Terrence Howard is Cat Williams' final form.
Now, I would disagree with that because I don't think he's funny, sir. I don't think he's funny.
And then the last one that I grabbed, and all of these are in that other video, but don't watch it. If Cat Williams interviewed Terrence Howard, they would just stare at each other and nod. What a great comment that was. But this one, the pièce de résistance from official Jack White. He wrote, "Hey, everyone, just a reminder, you should definitely be getting your facts about science and medicine from Terrence Howard and Joe Rogan. I wouldn't waste any time trusting scientists or doctors who went to universities, etc., for 12 years getting a PhD or anything. Nor should you trust anyone who understands what peer-reviewed science is. It's really great that MMA Joe uses his platform in front of millions to make sure. Okay, fuck you. Use the word platform. If you use the word platform, you're a mental midget. And I apologize to mental people. Don't say platform. It's your platform. This is my platform to tell my story. Oh, eat it. It's my platform. It's my platform, Steph. Help.
I don't care. I'm not going against Jack White. I'm just not going to do it. Not going to do it.
He's a great guitar player and singer and all that, but
He has a platform. He needs to use it for good. You got to use it for good.
Do you have a platform? Use it for good.
I have platform wedges that I wear in the summer.
You use them for good.
I do.
Yeah.
They make me feel thinner.
Well, see? Don't talk about him on Joe Rogan or Jack White will get mad at you. All right.
Just stop trying to teach people. Leave us alone. Let us be alone.
All right. So Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan Experience isn't as eye-opening and fun as, say,
Cat Williams talking to Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay, where we was just having a couple of drinks. And then I went on Joe Rogan and we smoked massive amount of weed before we started talking to each other. And it ended up just being this for like 3 hours. Very quiet and weird. And then you have a racing car machine that we were on.
But Terrence Howard is a lot of fun if you can just handle all the strangeness. I mean, there's so much they discussed. Dustin, did you watch it?
Yeah. people have gone through now and kind of debunked some of the things that he was saying. Like,
of course,
he had the patent for VR and augmented reality software,
right?
First, and then they looked it up, and he did at one point own what could have been that, but he let it go, like a lot of people do that make patents. I mean, they just don't fulfill them; they don't go forward with them,
right?
And other companies got them, but I don't think it wouldn't have fallen, like he said, to be worth $7 trillion at this point if he'd have not acted and continued with his software.
I invented helicopters that just fly around, and they're self-forming helicopters that can lift a bridge.
Maybe he's right. Rest in peace to Dabney Coleman, the guy you went and got for your movie in the 80s if you wanted a jerk, except for a couple of instances. Great character actor. Had a couple of sitcoms that were very, very funny. He was 92 years old, and he continued acting right up to the very end. So that's pretty awesome, I think. I want to talk about a couple of the movies I like him in. Jeff's has his best quote from the 80s, I think. You want to do it? Can you do it in the accent? Or the
sounds like pseudo-fictional penis envy.
And that is from Modern Problems?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in forever, but I used to watch that all the time on HBO.
It kind of holds up. I watched it a few years ago again.
You did? I've got to find out where to watch it.
No Carter is so
I think he
funny
says
in
that's
that.
a No
Oh my
Carter.
God.
Pseudo-sexual penis envy.
So who is he? Is he a psychiatrist in this?
Or a sex therapist or something.
The sex therapist? Because the premise of the movie is Chevy Chase is driving behind a truck filled with, chemical waste, and he ends up having superpowers?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And his girlfriend, Patty D'Arbonville, she's being wooed away by Dabney.
Oh. 9 to 5 is probably my favorite movie with him in it because he was so great in that. And in that movie, 9 to 5, he played character Franklin Hart, Mr. Hart. And they chained him up. Dolly Parton, Lily Tomlin, and Jane Fonda chained him up to into his bedroom. And there was a lot of BDSM stuff in there. And then they made his office really good. But it's a very funny movie. I still think it's funny. I think you can watch it today, and it's still funny. Ron Carlisle, the director in Tootsie, he was great in that. In War Games, he was Dr. McKittrick. So he was just really kind of just a solid character in that.
He was Jerry Caesar in Dragnet.
Anyhow, how much do you figure a monthly run of your magazine is worth?
Well, let's just say it's more money than you'll ever see in your life. And I do that every month.
At least my money's clean.
Well, I'll tell you what you do, Fred. If you go out there and get my magazines back on the stand where they belong.
So he had sort of the same character that he had in
Beat magazine.
With my 3,000 copies of Beat magazine.
Buffalo Bill, he was Bill Brittinger, a TV. He was a sports guy, right? Sports. Or was he an anchor? I forget. It was a TV show, and he was playing a reporter or an anchor in Buffalo, New York. And then the last thing I remember watching him in was Boardwalk Empire, where he played the Commodore.
You didn't know? I like Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like it too. Yeah.
That was one of the biggest, best movies of my childhood. I love that movie.
I saw that in the theater.
You did?
Yep.
Nice.
Did you guys ever hear that theory that Cloak and Dagger was the prequel to Fight Club?
No.
The main character in Fight Club was the little boy.
Henry Thomas grows up to be Edward Norton.
Edward Norton. And he still has all the problems of imagining. That's how
because he was imaginary and all that.
Yeah. I thought
that is interesting.
Cool
yeah.
I'd like to read more about that.
So, rest in peace to Mr. Dabney Coleman and your pseudo-sexual
Innocent.
News, trailers, and trends with Steph.
So do you guys see the whole kerfuffle that was over Harrison Butker's faith-based commencement speech last week at the Catholic college?
You mean Harrison Buttbanger? It came out that there was alleged that he had sex with a dude in a locker room when he was in college. Is that true, or is that a rumor?
I had not heard that was true, but a lot of people got really upset because he said that women should embrace their traditional role of being in the home, not worry so much about being a big career-minded
and
whatever.
Don't be a scientist like my mom.
Yeah, his mom was a scientist.
Yeah, she's a fucking scientist.
She's a physicist. Yeah.
Well, see, she was never at home. He didn't suckle.
Yeah, but Patricia Heaton, from Everybody Loves Raymond fame, she has come out to defend him because so many people, I mean, they're trying to get him thrown off of the Chiefs.
I know they are. They have a what is that? Change.org. Oh, I'm such a loser that I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks trying to get a guy kicked off a football team because he said something I didn't like. Who cares? Shut the fuck up. Don't worry about it.
And not to mention, he was at a Catholic college.
Right.
Where, I mean, it's not like he was at Yale or someplace like that. I mean, it's pretty much like the people there were buying what he was selling.
Yeah,
so
he wasn't at Pink Hair Atheist University. He was at a Catholic university. He's more conservative than the Pope is. And the Pope is like, do whatever you want. I don't care. Harrison Butker.
I don't think it's right. Brittany and I were talking about it, and I want him kicked off the team because, he always wins the game for us. He always wins the game for us, but I don't want him if he's going to be that way about women. He sucks.
I mean, he has a teammate that whored himself out all season long with the biggest singer in the world. And it was nonstop coverage. And that to me is more offensive than the 5 minutes this kicker talked about traditional women's roles. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
It does not affect you.
Please let me stay at the house. I'll gladly stay my ass here. Yeah. I don't want this role. You can have it. But whatever. So Patricia Heaton, she just wants everybody to know that he's not a monster.
I hate Everybody Loves Raymond. I hate Patricia Heaton.
I thought the woman on Tool Time was the conservative one, but this is Patricia Heaton's the one.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess. I mean, what do these words even mean anymore?
They don't mean anything. Nothing.
They don't mean anything. They're so stupid.
It's not the 90s. Sorry. It's not the 90s. There's no Trent Lott. There's no Bill Clinton. You're not being manipulated to be one side or the other. It's just nuts. Everything's nuts. So let's enjoy the nuttiness.
What's crazy is Red Lobster, they're filing bankruptcy, which I think if you've driven past a Red Lobster within the last 10 years, the parking lot's never full anymore. It hasn't been quite some time.
Yeah, and you don't live off of La Vista Road.
Well, I think they have only themselves to blame because once they started selling those biscuits at the grocery store, there's no reason to go there.
No.
There really is no reason.
People are bringing families of 12 and ordering one order of unlimited shrimp and feeding 12 people with it.
That's the thing. They had the unlimited shrimp. So, like Jeff said, just bring us more scrimps.
Well, there's YouTube videos where one guy said he sat for 9 hours on the $20 shrimp thing and just ate.
There's a bunch of fired Red Lobster employees too talking about it. Like these people would sit at my table and sit there for 4 hours, order 16 orders of shrimp.
Jesus.
And then leave like $1 tip.
Uh-huh. Well, that guy sat there for 9 hours. Huh?
It's endless shrimp.
Yeah.
It's supposed to never end.
And they said that the endless shrimp thing wasn't really what put them under. I mean, what really put them under?
It's because the company bought all the real estate.
All the real estate.
And then leased it back to them.
Yeah, they did like a McDonald's deal.
Super, super high value.
Yeah, and raised their rents to where they couldn't possibly, pay their rents.
The franchisee and all the employees are screwed now because corporate greed.
I just hope they keep selling the biscuits at the grocery store because those are really good.
Well, I hope the guy that ate 9 hours worth of shrimp isn't walking around with mercury in his blood.
It's hard to see. He's definitely got iodine.
All those shrimps were supplied by their in-house supplier too, and they were like rock bottom, worst. Low class shrimp you could get.
I mean, shrimp are the bugs of the sea. I mean, they already are bugs, really.
Yeah, they're good. It's a company from Thailand, by the way, that bought the venture capital company from Thailand. So they're the ones that fucked it all up.
Well, in cool lobster news, looks like Athens is getting their own minor league baseball team, and it's going to be called the Rock Lobsters after the B-52s.
Surprise!
They could have named it the B-52s.
We were at a party. Everybody had matching towels. I love the B-52s. The last time I saw them, though, was sort of depressing.
I love them too, but like Rock Lobster, it really does not scream Athens area. Did they have another song that you could think of that would have been a better name?
Love Shack.
The Love Shacks.
The Love Shacks. That sounds. I would buy that more than Rock Lobsters in the middle of Georgia.
I like B-52s. Yeah, Rock Lobster is not a good name for it. Well, it'll make it for a cool hat, and they'll sell a lot of merchandise.
No, that's true. They will do that.
Who are they affiliated with?
No, I don't know.
They must be independent. No, they're not a Braves affiliate. A hockey team. I thought it was a baseball team.
Oh, I thought it was a baseball team.
No, Athens names new hockey team after B-52 song.
Oh, well, then Rock Lobsters does make sense.
Sure, because lobsters live under ice water.
I was going to say, well, at least there's something that's water-based.
Mm-hmm.
So Kid Rock, I guess, got drunk during his Rolling Stone interview and started waving his gun around and using the N-word a lot.
Can we cancel him? Not us, but will they cancel him for that? I think he should be.
I don't think he cares. I remember I got drugged to a Kid Rock concert about 13 years ago. I only went because Government Mule was opening up for them. And
will open for Kid Rock.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And that's the only reason why I went. And then when he came out and he just dropped this huge Confederate flag, and I'm from Michigan. I remember him growing up, the ba with the ba, the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he's completely latched onto the Southern culture that is not his own, just like he did in Detroit, acting like he was from a rough area when he was from freaking Wixom and his dad owned all these car dealerships. He's just a phony. And now he's an old drunk racist.
Yeah. Well, MAGA, please.
Britney Spears, I don't know if you guys saw her last week where she broke her ankle and she refused to go to the hospital. And she was showing pictures of her ankle online about how she was fixing it herself by dancing and showering.
Jack White's not going to like that, Britney Spears. You need to go see a doctor.
Start the conservatorship up again.
She's spiraling. It's real bad now. And she's with some guy who's running all of her stuff and not letting people come out near her. I mean, it's like a total, it's pretty bad. I mean, I'm sure it's
Time for OnlyFans. Let's do it before you hit the wall. I mean,
I'm surprised.
Before you go through it, you've already.
You don't need OnlyFans. She already has her Instagram. It's just about there.
Yeah, that is true. And big shock. Ben and Jennifer are not going to make it.
I knew this when they got back together. I knew this was going to happen. He's more famous.
You just wanted to go back to A-Rod.
Who's Rod? A-Rod. I don't think that's going to happen. He cheated on her all the time.
Well, I saw something today where they showed Jennifer Garner and going to his house, and they said now she's going to have 4 kids living back at home again.
Not interested in Taco Burrito. Remember that episode of South Park?
So good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like tacos.
Taco flavored kisses for my bang.
You're so hot, baby.
Oh, God, Jenny!
Oh, sick! Oh, that's it!
The taco flavored kisses. And I guess he just got tired of it. I don't know. They say that he felt like he was in a fever dream these last 2 years. I'm tired of him and his problems. Why can't you just be alone? Why do you have to be in a relationship?
I think the best image of him ever taken is when he's standing outside of that club and he looks exasperated and he has a cigarette in his mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, it's been memed and rememed.
Uh-huh.
What do you guys think about this? Apple TV Plus is they're looking to pay the actors bonuses based on how many people watch their movies and shows.
And I'll pick that idea. Oh, bonuses, not original salary?
Yeah. If it's bonuses, I like the idea.
Yeah, bonuses. Because they just had a strike to negotiate fair rates and residuals and stuff. But if they want to do,
set the precedent for other streaming services too, like Netflix. They don't fucking tell anybody if their show's #1 or whatever.
Right. And Apple has a lot of money. So
that does make sense because normally whenever you would have a movie deal, when it was really at the theater or whatever, you would get points, right?
Yeah.
Back end, yeah.
So this would be their way of doing the back end or whatever.
Yeah.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt so too. And the last thing, and this is really for me because I'm obsessed with this story, is Miss Peaches from Lifeline Animal Shelter, Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports and One Bite Pizza Review. He adopted this dog from, not from Lifeline. It was another rescue had already pulled Miss Peaches. She was a little pit bull who had been bred, and she was in a hoarding situation. And he has just made her into this superstar. She has over 1 million followers on Instagram. She's become like an ambassador for, he has raised like $700,000 for rescues, selling clothing for her and all this other stuff. Well, this past May 20th, Miami, that's where his residence is, they declared it Miss Peach's Day, and they gave her a bone to the city.
Aww.
It was the most wonderful thing I've ever seen. Miss Peaches is such a doll. So if you don't follow Miss Peaches on Instagram, please do. She will brighten your day every single day. And whatever you think about Dave Portnoy, I could care less. I think he's awesome. I mean, not everything he says is great, but I think he's cool. I love One Bite Pizza Review, and I wish I was Dave Portnoy, because that's what I would do if I was a gajillionaire, is just walk around in T-shirts and eat pizza and carry dogs.
One bite, everybody knows the rules. Then you take seven bites of the pizza.
Bites.
You forgot one story. Breaking news. 2 Chainz is opening a vegan pizza place in Little 5 Points. Headline for next year. 2 Chainz Little 5 Points vegan pizza shop to close.
You shut up. I have messaged.
I bet you it does not close, and I bet you it becomes super successful.
I agree. Aventura is what it's called, or whatever. But yeah, he's been vegan for a minute, I believe, and I want to go. And I have also messaged him like 1,000 times and begged him to come on the show, but
he isn't going to come on our show. He's too famous.
I know.
But they don't use real cheese. Blah.
Hopefully it's better than the cashew crap that you hated at Amaza. I'm hoping it's better than that.
I like that cashew.
I would imagine that they figured it out, because that chick who owns Slutty Vegan and has made a killing, whatever cheese that she's using on those burgers, people cannot tell the difference.
Right.
Slutty Vegan is good stuff. I've had that before. I enjoy it. They brought food by my job a couple times.
I mean, it tastes like a burger.
And they're opening those up all over the place now.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe 2 Chainz is onto something, but
I think he
pizza,
is.
I like real pizza.
We should go and try it. I feel like that would be a good show thing too. We should do our own One Bite Pizza review. We could go to MTH and then shoot over to Aventura.
Okay.
But we'll call it something else so Dave Portnoy doesn't sue us.
Yes, we'll definitely do that. We'll call it 25 Bite Review. Eat 7,000.
7 slices. Everybody knows the rules.
Guys, are you reading the online comments?
Gotta read some of these comments.
I'm loving your guys' comments.
You're reading your own comments?
Yeah, they're really good. I worked hard on them.
The secret is, don't read the comment cards.
All right, let's read some YouTube comments. I'll read these YouTube comments. We got a lot of them this week, so thank you for leaving them. Deeb, 2359, left a heart. Thank you, Deeb. He's one of our new listeners, I believe, and he's always leaving a comment, and I appreciate it. User LN7KT. Okay, thank you for the comment. Bill Burr on Club Random was watchable all the way through, partly because Billy Burr gave him so much shitsoul. You guys are great, by the way. Thank you, man. At Learn the Time. Thank you for providing quality content and great discussions on your topics. It took me a while, but I'm enjoying sliding into your DMs. I mean, weekly content.
8:06 p.m.
Yes. At Learn the Time, 8:06 p.m. Flash Fuxie says St. Elmo's Fire is such a ridiculous piece of crap. It's one of my guilty pleasures. On a side note, I'd watch a movie about a plane load of babies crashing into the ocean and being eaten by sharks. So many questions. Why were there only babies on the plane? Where were the pilot's babies? Were the babies attacked by baby sharks? The list goes on and on. I don't know where that came from. But
I think Fuxie's saying that he'll watch any movie, basically.
Yeah, I think so too. But particularly ones about planes crashing into the ocean filled with babies. At Trevor Jeff wrote, yo, you ever see someone with obvious ADHD do coke and it mellows them like meds? Bert Kreischer might actually shut up. At James Mitchell wrote, a lot of folks on Twitter and Facebook have sent me links to different Tom Segura sets. I laughed 3 times in about 4.5 to 5 hours, and I was just done. To me, he's about as funny as a plane. Oh, okay. This is what Fuxie's comment relates to. To me, he's about as funny as a plane full of babies crashing into the ocean and being eaten by sharks. I don't care how rich and famous you think you are. It doesn't give you the right to act like an asshole to people who aren't on the magic boxes. He needs a huge lesson in humility. Also, does he not realize the military and veterans are some of the lowest paid people in this country, or the poors, as he calls us? Good point. Valid point. But that relates to Fuchsie's comment, I guess. Fuchsie was applying to that.
But I think that his dad was in the military.
The whole poor thing is kind of a bit, but
it failed.
He does it so much that you start to believe him.
Yeah, but it failed. I mean, it did not go over well.
Yeah.
And you're right. When Jeff made a great point, I think it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, when you see Tom Segura and he has hair and he's overweight, that's the one you want to watch, that clip on TikTok or Instagram, because that's when he was super, super funny. He's still a funny guy. I can't take that away from him. He can still write good jokes, but his last couple of stand-up specials haven't been it for me. And then the last comment comes from at Patopole 8704. I don't care for Jerry Seinfeld. First, I thought he was being stupid about his new political stuff. That's part of it. But also, when he was on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, he's just kind of a dick. I think he has an attitude that he's the greatest living comedian, and he doesn't really give anyone else respect. Maybe I'm projecting. I stopped watching and listening to Your Mama's House stuff when they sounded like a MAGA light podcast and an infomercial at times. They had a guy on earlier this year that I swear was just a dick doctor that was paid to get airtime. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Yeah. I don't know why you don't like me. I never did anything. All I said was cancel culture sucks, and you can't joke about shows and talk about things like when you would go home and you would watch a show like Out of the Blue, which was a failed spinoff of Happy Days. Or you'd go home and watch Happy Days and see Fonzie and then Laverne and Shirley, and then you'd masturbate and go to bed. What's wrong with that? Those were the good days.
I don't mind Seinfeld, but I'm on Bobcat's side in the whole feud between the two of them.
That's a stupid feud. Bobcat is funny. I think Jerry knows that Bobcat is funny.
Yeah.
I like Jerry, but I see people's points too, like on the John Mulaney, Everybody's in LA thing. When Jerry was on there, and John couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
No.
Jerry does like to hear his own voice.
Well, I am old, and I did create the best comedy show of all time, the best sitcom. Seinfeld. It was named after me. It wasn't called Alexander. It was called Seinfeld. It wasn't called Kramer.
Should have been called Newman.
Okay, I get it. That would have been funny. And then Larry David created a better sitcom than mine, but it had to be on HBO because he wanted to say fuck.
It's still not as good as Larry Sanders.
No, Larry Sanders is the best sitcom ever.
Hi, it's Burley Sanders for the Podburn and all that. Spring is here, and we're excited for warmer weather. Stop in to Atlanta Pizza and Euro for one of their 16 ice-cold draft beers and ciders on tap. They do not have Bernie malt liquor yet, but we're working on it. Try one of the many local craft and domestic beers available in cans and bottles. I hope they recycle them because that's very important. Their featured selection this spring is Spring Waters. Hang on. Let me start over. Their featured selection this spring is Sweetwater Brewing's Half a Gummy Fruit Punch IPA. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a pot reference. It's IPA. It's got fruit punch, which is what you drink when you're high. You know, the Hawaiian Punch guy with the hat. Delicious. It's easy drinking, sweet tasting IPA with low bitterness and delicious fruit flavors. AP&G is a longtime favorite of Kanye's in Covington and the East Metro area of Atlanta, Georgia. They're made to order pizzas, gyros, or gyros, however you say it, pasta specialties, and Greek salads are absolutely the best around. They wish to sincerely thank everybody for their business and support, both now and into the future. They have a food truck. Their events are going on regularly, but if you're interested in booking one, just contact Mike Hall at 770-483-6228. Open for dine-in or takeout Monday through Friday, 11 to 9, Saturday, 12 to 9, closed on Sundays. I don't know about the Glory Hole. You guys said earlier it was open again. I doubt it. Celebrity voice impersonating.
Do you have a commercial or residential construction printing need? Well, what are you waiting for? Contact LDI Repro Printing of Athens. They've been in Athens, Georgia since 2005 with a fast turnaround and affordable prices. Call 706-316-9366 or you can email them at athens@ldiline.com. Last week on the show, I mentioned my friend and former co-worker on the radio, Southside Steve Rickman, who had an interview with Sarah Tiana. Sarah Tiana being the very popular comedian who wrote a lot of jokes for the Tom Brady roast. And Justin, I believe you put it on TikTok, and I guess Steve saw it. And he was like, that's cool. I'm going to talk about it on my radio show. So it was, it was Tuesday morning in Atlanta. And I found the website and listened to what he was saying. And he did make a valid point. He goes, coworker. All right. But in my defense, I hadn't planned to talk about it. I just threw it out there. And so I said whatever came to mind. But he had a good point. Coworker. Okay. He goes, I'll give anybody a plug, and his philosophy now, as he's hosting his radio show, is that he wants to give creative people a push, and he wants the same in return. And I totally get that, because he's all about celebrating. He's not giving up. We're not giving up. The regular guys show died. We had a great run. Before I joined the show, they had an even better run as far as ratings were concerned, and content was a lot different back then. But, radio legend in this market of Atlanta and beyond. And he had to suffer 5 years, or I don't know how many years, with a real asshole. I only had to do that for about 11 months. So he stuck it out. But anyway, he is not in that situation anymore, and I want to give him a proper plug, okay? He played a clip of us on his show the other day, by the way, and that's why I tuned in to hear that, and he was very cool. And he played a clip of the Radio Labyrinth when we talked about him. The name of his show is The Southside Ride with Southside Steve, featuring Jeff Cole, who's a real cool guy. He knows a lot about a lot of stuff, rock, comedy, stuff like that. And you can find your best frequency in Atlanta on this radio station. It's called Fox FM. It exists around the city on multiple frequencies, and it's also in Macon. But I asked him, he said the best way to find it or listen to it or stream it is thesouthsideride.com. And Steve also does a podcast, the Yeah Come On podcast, which I hope to go on one of these
Eric
days.
was on there recently.
Yes, and you could see his head. Not very well.
Views.
Or.
Snooze.
All right, last week was Out of Range, the whole show. Watched 3 of those.
Watch it. Is it good? I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. It's as good as it's always been.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of boring, but...
Yeah, but it was boring last season. It was just interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's interesting, but kind of boring.
Yeah.
Big Cigar, which I haven't watched yet, and Spacey Unmasked, which we already talked about. This week, Tires comes to Netflix.
That's a Views.
Views. Shane Gillis.
Is it a sitcom? Yeah. Okay, Shane Gillis.
But it's old, right? This is all from like 2018.
No, I think this is
the original. The original bits were from 2018, but they turned it into an actual.
Yeah, they turned it into a sitcom.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yep. It's a Views for me. It comes out on the 23rd.
Yeah.
The 1% Club on Prime and Fox. This Patton Oswalt's new game show.
They should have given it to Tom Segura.
I like trivia shows, so I'll probably watch it.
It's a trivia. And Patton is very good at trivia. He's a trivia dude, right? He's a kind of a nerdy dude. He's yeah.
But it's weird. It's going to be on Prime and Fox. And the Beach Boys have a documentary coming out on Disney Plus on the 24th. I'm interested to see that.
Yeah. Will they have any footage of them hanging out with Charles Manson and
I don't know. It's always cool to see when they do talk about the whole Manson family connection.
Mm-hmm. And how poor Dennis Wilson met them because he picked up a couple of the girls. They were hitchhiking, and he just ended up getting all of his acid from them and having a lot of sex with them. And they moved into his house, and he didn't want to confront them, so he just moved out.
Well, that's kind of what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was sort of based on.
Yeah, what a great movie. Fantastic movie. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, let's do some staff picks.
You Like It Darker, new Stephen King book came out this week.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to the first story so far. It's very good. Not real dark.
Is it about Kim Kardashian?
No.
Yeah, I've listened to the first one too. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good. Not dark, but good.
I love your comment here. Read by Will Patton of the whole show. I think Will Patton is the best narrator of his books since Frank passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really got the main accent down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does it very well. And also, just on the podcast front, Barely a Podcast for Barely a Show just came out this week.
Mm-hmm.
This is the podcast about the Happy Ending show. It's hosted by Casey Wilson and Adam Pally.
Oh, okay.
Episode 1 just came out this week. It's very good. If you like happy endings.
Cool.
Let's see. Mine's also a podcast. It's new on YouTube. It's called Not Today Podcast. And I know that there are a few Not Today podcasts. So this one is Eddie Pence and Jen Sturger, both comedians. And they just started it. So I think there's like 4 or 5 episodes. And it is available if you go to Eddie Pence on YouTube.
Cool. I like him. I've seen him a couple times.
Did we just see Jen Sturger someplace? Oh, you know who she is? Isn't she the lady that Brett Favre sent penis pictures to?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
When she was what, a cheerleader or something? I got to check.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. He sent her pictures of his ding dong, which was a mistake because he's like, like me doing that. Nah, nothing. Steph, do you have a staff pick?
Yeah, mine is a podcast as well. It's Blood is Thicker, The Hargan Family Killings. It's
shocking that you would pick one about a murder.
This one's a good one. It's a 48 hours podcast. It's Peter Van Zandt is the narrator, and they just released episode 3. So it's one of those weekly things where you have to wait for each episode, and it's crazy. It's a crazy story. Pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy. My stat pick is Cinema Speculation, which is a 2022 book by Quentin Tarantino. I've had it since it came out, but I just started listening to the audiobook. Basically what he does is he breaks down all these films. He talks about all the dudes that his mom dated or the people that lived in his house, and he'd go see movies with them. He talks about this guy, Floyd, that used to live in his house and got him into seeing blaxploitation films, or they would hang out and watch all these films. Fantastic book where he talks about all these great 70s movies. I think I've seen most of them, but a lot of them I haven't. Or if I have seen them, I haven't seen them in a very long time. So what I'm going to do now is watch them. And I started doing that, which is why I'm kind of behind on podcasts and stuff. But I watched the original Dirty Harry movie, and I forgot how good of a film that is.
It's a great movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie. And he makes a point in his book is that there shouldn't have been a sequel to it. And he's right, because at the end of Dirty Harry Callahan throws his badge into a retention pond or a quarry. Spoiler alert. Anyway, the movie's, 53 years old, but great movie, great acting, great action. And those gritty 70s movies, they have a look to them that can never be duplicated. They go all the way to, I think, 1981. And I'm not going in the order in which he does them, because I found on Tubi is capitalizing on this, and they're putting these films on there. So you have to watch them with commercials. But last night I watched half of Hardcore with George C. Scott. And I haven't gotten to the part with my favorite line, "I ain't no stunt cock," which Jeff and I loved quoting constantly in high school. It was very funny. George C. Scott's daughter, he's a religious guy from someplace in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And really, the story is his daughter ditches him because she was tired of living in that kind of life. But the actor who steals the film is Peter Boyle. Peter Boyle plays a private detective, and he's amazing in it. So if you're into that kind of thing, watch it. It's an exploitation film. I mean, it's sensational. But I like Quentin Tarantino. I hope he writes more stuff like this, because I just like the way he does it. And unfortunately, he only narrates the beginning and the end. But the guy who narrates it is pretty good. So I would check that out if I were you. And I'm narrating a book, too. It's called Selfies by Scott Young, who is Tim Andrews' cousin. And I think you should check it out. It's a sci-fi trilogy. The first book is done. The book is out. And how is it going? I read 2 chapters, and then I found out that I read the wrong edit. So now I have to start over again. But he likes it. I like it, and it's a good learning experience, and I appreciate him. And I will have him on the podcast. Speaking of which, The Popcast is a show I do on WSB Radio every week, Saturday at 7 p.m. If you're in town, you can listen to it live on 750 a.m. or if it's not too staticky, or 95.5 FM, or anywhere in the world on the WSB Radio app. Last week, I had two comedians on, Mario Adrian and Michael Albanese, who we've had on this show before. Yeah. And that will be available for podcast when I get back to work, because I'm not going to upload it from home. This week, you'll be able to listen to me speaking with Dweezil Zappa. Dweezil Zappa is coming to Atlanta in September on the 7th and playing at the Eastern. And he's doing a mashup of Apostrophe, which is one of my favorite albums, and Roxy and Elsewhere, which is a very cool experimental-ish live album. I'm not going to play both of them live. And it was funny that he was supposed to call me at 2:00 today, and it got to be about 2:10. So I called his wife, and he called me right back, and he goes, "Sorry, Tim, we had an issue walking dogs. You can watch him on Instagram, and he has these 3 cute little dogs, and he feeds them raw meat that he orders from this place." So that's how we open up the interview, talking about that, and we go all over the place. You know, I'm a Zappa fan, but I remember distinctly Dweezil really popping into pop culture in the mid 80s, because he was an MTV VJ, and
him and Moon Unit.
Yeah, they were on all the time, and she's in that video for that song "Let's Talk About It," which has Jane Fonda in it, and Charlie Sexton, and all these actors and stuff. For some reason, Robert Wagner. So anyway, that was a lot of fun, and I appreciate him talking to me. And yeah, that'll be on, and you can listen to it on your favorite podcatcher. I want to give a shout out to our Patreon producers. We have Patreon producers. These are the people who donate $25 a month, and you guys get the credits on the show for contributing as long as you have, and just how great supporters you are. Everybody who donates is a supporter. Everybody who watches and listens is a supporter. But these are our producers: Tim Slayton, Brian and Chelsea Smith, Jeff Peterson, Jim Fortner, Terry Fuller, Chris Chandler, Roby Neely, Mike D, and Matt Carter. And if you'd like to become a producer or come in at any level, you just go to patreon.com/Tim Andrews. This week in the Patreon only episode, it's the Matt D episode, because he commented and we answered him. So we were right. We named a whole bunch of them. And also we talked about some things we can't talk about on this show because of algos. Algorithms. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you to all of our new viewers and commenters. It's really cool to see that happening in real time. Dustin puts a lot of effort into this, and we would love to keep growing with you. And it's nice to see that the effort that we're putting into it is entertaining some people and making some people mad. Sorry, Adam Ray fans. And also, like, subscribe, share. We're on social media. You can interact with us. All that's, either in the show notes if you're listening on your favorite podcatcher, or right there on the YouTube video. Is that correct, Dustin? Am I right about that?
Yep, down below.
Every Saturday morning, I want to get up and watch the show, and I say, "Gilbert, do you want to watch Daddy's show?" And he goes, "No." And I don't blame him, because he's 3 and we're mature content.
We need to have some more trucks on here.
Yeah, plus Cars is on Saturday morning.
Yeah, Cars is on all the fucking.
And I wanted to say to you, Tim, that the Hannibal Trump last week, I think I listened to that part of the show, which I never do this, like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Just because it made me laugh so hard. The thing that when you were reading those comments in that voice, it just killed me.
Well, thank you for saying that. I want to do more shit like that. So any ideas you have like that, any voices that I do or you think I can do, let's do more of that.
I wait till the trial wraps up and they wheel him out on that cart with the mask on.
Oh, will it tickle you?
Take this thing back to Mar-a-Lago. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for viewing. You guys are great. Appreciate all the contributions you make on our pages and your comments and everything. And we do have social media, so you can leave comments there. And if we see it, we'll talk about it.
And join the Radio Shack on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Join the Radio Shack on Facebook. That's our super secret group, and you can join it and comment and have fun. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Please remember to keep it canning.
Keep it canning.
Well, they say all good things come to an end.
What's that got to do with this show?